Life is so good, life is so grand, are we living? Yes, we are. Life is so good, life is so grand, are we living? Yes, we are. One more time for the people in the back. Life is so good, life is so grand, are we living? Yes, we are. Yes, that's a little soul song right there. It just came up into my head. I thought I would drop some soul shine with you and share it. Also, I wanna tell you. I wanna tell you. Oh yes, I'm gonna tell you. About the birds and the bees and the wild swallows and the trees. Let me tell you about the seeds. Let me tell you about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. And I will not forget the flowers again or the seeds. Oh, I just love singing so much. Does the singing make you feel happy too? Because it sure does to me. And you know, it sounds like a great way to start the day and start this podcast. It gets me kind of in the mindset, the creative mood to keep these juices flowing and allow me that headspace where I can share. Because sharing is caring. And I feel like I got a lot to share on this week's episode of the podcast. I did miss last week because it was spring break for my kids, which are in 5th and 6th grade, and we decided to take advantage of the time off school, and we went to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, little Ruby Doobie's homeland, because she's a Chihuahua, and that's where Chihuahuas came from, was Mexico. Right, Ruby Doobie? Mwah. I must say that Ruby Doobie did not travel with us, but she was always close to my heart. And I did see a ton of Chihuahuas there in Mexico, which was sweet. And every time you get a little homesick, too, along with, you know, when I had my kids with me, so I didn't miss them. They were with, so I did miss my Chi, my little Chihuahua. Right, Ruby Doobie? Oh, I think it's her nap time. Yes. She'll be just, you know, patiently on my little lap. But I certainly did miss her. But we did not miss out on any fun on vacation. It's always good just to get out and immerse yourself in a different culture. And I feel like a lot of times you can find that, you know, even in a different city or a different state. You know, the great United States has a ton of different dialects and different subcultures right here. But going to another country just brings it to a whole nother level. And I would highly recommend Puerto Vallarta. I absolutely loved it. The weather was wonderful. The sun was shining. We're talking 90s here in the spring break. It wasn't like that a couple of months ago when we were in Cabo and Cancun. It was cold, but not this trip. I feel like I got my bronze on. I got some really good base layer tan coming into this spring here. And the pool was wonderful. The beaches were amazing. It's a fisherman's town there in Puerto Vallarta. So you've seen a lot of people fishing. We actually decided to try our hand at fishing when we were there. So we chartered a boat and we didn't catch nothing. I mean, not a goddamn nothing. Not even a bite. And we were like, well, what the heck? Like, this place is known for its fishing. Our guy, we called him Captain... the pirate Captain Jack of Pirates of the Caribbean, and that's what was his name. And, you know, he seemed to really know what he was doing, but, you know, not even a bite. We had, I think, 5 lines out in the water. Trolling is where the boat is moving, and the lines are in the back, for those of you that may not know. And we found out that it was the full moon. It was the full pink moon. And fishermen know that when it is a full moon, the fish are not biting because they go and catch all of their little fishies in the evening because it's bright, it's light, and they can see, and so they have a full feast on a full moon, making them not hungry the next day. So we got skunked. Absolutely no fish did we catch, but we did see some little stingrays in the water. It was like a pack of them that went by as our boat drifted on by. And then off in the distance, Captain Jack spotted a pod of dolphins, which was really sweet to see. And the kids just loved it. And especially Nevaeh, she just loves all the aquatic adventures. And so that was good to see some life out there. Although whale season has came and passed, so no humpbacks, but we did get to see some dolphins and stingrays. And then we took the adventure further where we went to go snorkeling. I am PADI certified, so with the kids, it wasn't part of the adventure to go scuba diving, but we did go snorkeling, and that was a ton of fun. They had a nature preserve reef there right off of the city, Nuevo Vallarta, and we got to check that out with the snorkeling gear. It was my kids' first time actually putting on the snorkel gear, the flippers, the masks. They didn't do so great with the tube, which that's like the main thing of snorkeling. That's how you breathe, so you can keep your head underwater longer. But the salt water was a little bit for them to get used to, especially when it's going in your mouth. I'm like, if you just could get over the fact that it is awkward having something in your mouth, you would see a ton of diversity here under the sea. And I did. I seen angelfish, and we seen Nemo, we seen Dory, I seen pufferfish, crabs up the wazoo, and a lot of fish that I have no idea what they were called, but they were sure beautiful, vibrant, and colorful, and the coral reef is doing great there. And honestly, I'm happy that we were snorkeling because it seemed like most of the life was up below, although I wouldn't know what was going on 60 feet down under, but I felt satisfied seeing what I seen, up on swimming on top of the water. So it was really awesome to have that experience with the kids, and now they came and they saw and they know what to feel like and expect for the next time. So we'll give it a try again. And it's really cool to kind of see that underwater life because it is really a whole other world over there. And we were talking about, under the sea, that 95% of our oceans are unexplored. And I feel like that's what inhibits the kids to go want to do extensive snorkeling, if you will. Because the main thing is like sharks. And I'm like, okay, no one's going to take you where there's sharks attacks were, okay? Like you're totally safe in that regard. And also I think it's the unknown of the sea, which honestly excites me. I'm like, let's go explore. I want to see all the things. I've had some really unique dive experiences when I went down under and fully submerged my body underneath the sea. Anywhere from 5 to 60 feet below the depths is what I'm certified for. And really neat. It's a whole nother world down there. Honestly, I feel like it's as if you're an astronaut, like exploring like a whole nother galaxy. That's what it feels like under the sea. It's like a totally different ecosystem and terrain, and I just absolutely love every single tank that I get to spend underneath the sea. Although it's been a hot minute because, we're in like the full kids zone right now. So, and Danny and I, when we do our solo trips, don't always go to the places with the best scuba. So it is a skill set where you have to use it or you lose it. So that's my only thing of like, let's go scuba diving so we can still keep fresh on all of the safety techniques because it can be very dangerous underneath there. You're breathing out of, a mask, and out of an oxygen tank. So you really got to know what to do when any uncomfortable situations occur and think fast and on your feet because it could be a life or death experience. Not to scare anyone, faith over fear, all is well. But I mean, the reality is there that people can get hurt and will get hurt if they don't know what they're doing. And so the experience is everything. But I've got I don't know, probably 2 handfuls of tanks underneath my belt, and I feel really comfortable underneath there. I think the biggest thing is breathing, and that's even breathing out of the mask tube as well. It's just kind of regulating your breath and being aware of it, breathing in and breathing out and letting it out. And so kind of being able to regulate, your breathing and your peace and your calmness, and keeping that all under wraps so you can get the best experience and seeing all the beautiful ocean life out there, because there is a ton and I love it to explore it. So that was really cool to experience with the kids. And we also did a little jungle land adventure. My daughter had said that she wanted to go ziplining. So I'm like, yes, let's go ziplining. It sounds adventurous and fun, and all the kids were into it. So we did 19 lines of ziplining through the jungle, over canyons and across creeks, and it sure was a lot of fun to see the kids kind of up in the spirit of adventure and wanting to try new things that way too. So the trip was full of activities and adventure, and a lot of pool time, though, a lot of relaxation as well. And this trip was a little bit different for us because our kids are 10 and 12, and they're a little bit more independent. And we stayed on a resort, all inclusive. So we felt really safe having them, they don't always have to be within arm's reach of us. So they're, I'm going to run up to the room and grab this, or I'm going to go relax over here, or we're going to go take a walk for the beach. It was kind of like, at first you're like, oh no, like, is this okay? Are we doing this? Is this where we're at? Because, in years past, I would always accompany them and go with them. But this year they were kind of off on their own. So you got to kind of let them go, let them be free and live and love and learn and life, and just to the fullest in their extent. And it was kind of liberating to see them go and then come back and share their experiences, their stories, of course, like shorter periods of time. Now, like, we were with them most of the time. I'm not saying that it was like totally willy-nilly, but, just kind of relinquishing a little bit more control. And it's different as a parent. You definitely have to get used to it. You're kind of like, I don't know, is this okay? Am I supposed to be doing this? And not to mention, even going to Puerto Vallarta right now, we were thinking about canceling the trip a month ago when El Chapo, or El Mancho, was assassinated there. The world's biggest drug dealer, resided in Puerto Vallarta, and they offed him. And which created some unrest politically and, locally within the community. So a lot of people were like, I wouldn't go. No way. I wouldn't take my kids there. But we didn't make any rash decisions. We kind of took it upon ourselves to really catch a vibe. I did my research. I talked to a ton of people, even moms that had their kids there for their spring break, and I felt comfortable with it. And we decided to, not go looking for trouble, and we didn't find any, and we felt totally safe. As a matter of fact, one of the nights we did go downtown and the boardwalk there. They have a really lively city scene along the ocean there, and we seen some really neat stuff. That was also a wonderful experience for not only I, but the kids to witness that too. Some of the local culture there. They did this rain dance where these men would climb up this 100-foot pole, wrap themselves in this rope, and then slowly let themselves down as they're swinging around, and the guy's playing this flute. And apparently they do this, in the springtime to call in the rain for their rain season, because they need it for their crops and for their livelihood. So it's an ancient tradition that we were able to witness, and that was really, really cool to see. I'd never seen that before, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. And then be able to research it online and find out some more information about it was really fantastic as well. But what really touched my heart was the danzon. As we were walking down the boardwalk, there was a whole dance party in the community square off to the side. It was kind of on the next street over, and there was hundreds of people just dancing and having so much fun to this live music that was there. And everyone's just so joyous and muy feliz and having mucho divertido, which is fun in Spanish. And I just love to witness it. I was like, wow, it was so great to see that culture being able to celebrate life like that. I'm like, wow, outside of like nightclubs and like Summerfest, like we don't have dance parties every night in the streets. I wish we did, but Nixon and I got to dance together in with them, and it was just so much fun that Nixon wanted to dance with his mama, and we just went in there, and I threw down some salsa the best way I knew how, and not even that you had to do that. It could be any forms of dance. It takes all types, and it was just really cool to see that community connection come together in a square every night. And now I know there's tourists that partake too, and so that's probably what fuels the nightly celebration, but really cool to witness that and to see their carefree attitudes, the smiles on their faces, and just the happiness that exuded from that town square, which was like right in front of the church, la iglesia, the church. And we did go over Easter, so Easter Sunday, and Rachel and her son Connery and I decided to see a Catholic church bilingual a bilingual church service. Thank you. And that was really also liberating and wonderful to see how a different culture celebrates Easter, and Jesus, the Pasión de Cristo, is alive and well in their hearts. And it really fueled my fire too, because I certainly do not want to miss church, being gone on Easter. I go every Sunday that I can, but definitely on that holiday, it just really means something to go and celebrate the liberation and the resurrection and all that Easter is celebrating. And to see a different culture do that and immerse myself in that awesomeness just really filled up my cup too. So it was wonderful. It was lovely. And I'm so happy that we were able to experience that together, because those are special times. And I just feel like, carpe diem, una vida, one life, seize the day. Like you can't just let those opportunities pass by. And what would I have been doing, otherwise, like hanging out by the pool? Like I'm just really happy that we seized the day, carpe diemed it, and were able to witness that Catholic bilingual service that they had at La Iglesia. And it was also really cool to practice my Spanish, practicar mi español, solamente poquito, hablo poquito español, pero practicar con las personas es muy bien to if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So it was good to speak the little Spanish that I did know and retain from my 5 years in high school. And also I think that, going to Mexico reiterates to the children the importance of learning another language, especially when they're young, because they learn it that much faster, because they're so much more connected worldwide. I think that, America is quickly becoming a bilingual country where, yes, English is our main language, but if you know Spanish, you are going to be able to connect with that many more amazing personas. So highly recommend anyone out there that wants to learn a new language to go ahead and do so. And I found that a lot of times when I knew what I knew in Spanish really helped me with Italian when I was in Italy as well. Sicily, it seemed to be very similar. Muy similar. So, I mean, and Connery, who is in high school, was also practicing his Spanish. And, it's so inherently like a feeling to feel funny when you're using your Spanish or your Spanglish, if you will. And, not to shy away to not use it, because you're like, oh, I sound funny. I don't know what I'm saying. And I'm just kind of like, it's broken and I don't really know what I'm doing. But I reminded him, and it was a good reminder for myself, that as much as we want to learn Spanish, they want to learn English. So it's kind of a good mutual dynamic there of understanding that, you got to practice and you got to use it. And if you don't, I mean, maybe you could learn it really good by writing it and, reading a book. But if you're not speaking it, then you're probably not going to pick up on it as fast as you would if you were using it with another person. So just a really good reminder, a good eye-opener out there for language and the barriers that they can pose, and how much better off you'd be if you knew a little bit of Spanish. And as much as, we think people should learn English, like, we should be learning Spanish. And I also reminded my kids that in most other countries, people there know 3, 4, 5, up to 10 different languages. And they're not inhibited by that. So I think that's really also freeing to think that, language can be learned, and at any age. So you gotta just, be confident and get out there and give it a try. So it was really cool to also practice that with the kids and have the kids witness that and be a part of that. So I loved PV. Highly recommend it. The only thing, okay, so I wasn't going to get into this, but I just have to. I'm sorry. This must be documented. So you might laugh at us, but Rachel and I walked down to the beach on our first night that we were there. And we were really excited to be there, everything's kind of new and fresh, and we're checking out the resort, and it's wonderful. And we walked down by the beach, and they were selling these beautiful blankets. And they were awesome. And I'm like, wow, Rachel and I are admiring this blanket. And Rachel's like, she manifested a hummingbird butterfly blanket. She's like, if it only had hummingbird and butterflies on it, I would love one. Well, out she walks with a hummingbird butterfly blanket that were totally the Dragonfly Princess's colors. They just matched her soul. And so she's like, yes, we need this blanket. And they're like, and they go on to this whole thing. They're like, this blanket is 100% cotton. So high vibrational material, right? They didn't say that, but Rachel and I are like, wow, 100% cotton. That's amazing. We love cotton. That's what I want to hang out and lounge out around in and have on my body through a blanket. And they're like, yes. And they were handcrafted by our family in Veracruz with an ancient loom that's been passed down from generation to generation. And so we're like, wow, this is really an amazing blanket. Not only does it have butterflies and hummingbirds on it, but it's been, it's high vibrational materials and made with meaning. Yes, we would love it. And they're like, $150. And we're like, $150? We're like, shoot, well, geez, yeah, it is a really nice blanket. Maybe you should. So, of course, you always haggle with people. Everything's negotiable. So we're like, $100, and we're buying the blanket. And we're like, all right, if you buy another blanket, you can have it for $100. So, of course, I'm like, all right, well, I really want one too. So they have different colors with the hummingbird butterfly, and they're showing us all these blankets. They just keep showing us different variations of it. And I'm like, all right, I found one that really spoke to my soul. And I'm like, all right, let's go. Well, of course, then we got these blankets, and we were thinking of our sister whose birthday it was coming up. And we're like, all right, well, Sarah needs a blanket too. Okay. So we picked out a blanket for Sarah. And so now we have 3 blankets for $300. And we're like, okay, we're good. Well, over walks the boys, right? And I think Jamie, he was sold on this idea of the cotton blanket, handmade. And so there was a skull blanket that was also really cool that was calling his name. So now he wants this blanket. Now we have 4 blankets. We're like, all right, we're good on blankets. We don't even know how we're getting these blankets home. This is $400. Yeet, we're excited. We're there. We pulled the trigger. Let's go. All right, so we got the 4 blankets, and we're excited. We're like, yes, we love our blankets. They're great. And we get them to the room. And I think the next day we're down by the beach again, and over walks this guy named Lucas. And, he's got his name on his hat, and he's also selling blankets. And he's like, hey, showing us these blankets. We're like, yes, we love the blankets. We got 4 of them. We're good. And he was like, well, I will sell you this blanket for $60. And I was like, what? I was like, $60? We just bought 4 of them for $100 a piece. What do you mean $60? He's like, I was like, no, I don't even want another blanket. I feel ripped off right now. I am not buying any more blankets. He's like, $50. I'm like, sir, $40. I will give you $40 for another blanket, and that's it. Not even, again, I was just doing it now out of principle to see if I could get this blanket for $40, which is a fraction of a third of what I paid for, almost a third of what I paid for the other blanket. So, sure enough, I get this other blanket, and I'm thinking of a gift. I got a different variation. It was a sea turtle blanket. I also love sea turtles. And so we get the sea turtle blanket, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why did I just buy another blanket? Now Rachel's like, well, for $40, like, I'm going to get another one too. So she gets another blanket. So now we have 6 blankets, 4 for $100, 2 for $40. How this happened, I don't even know. We really did like these blankets. And so time goes on, and they figure out we're from Wisconsin, and they know the Green Bay Packers, and they come up to Danny, this is a different day, and they show him the blanket, the Green Bay Packer blanket, and he ends up buying it for $60. So now, I don't know if you're totally keeping track, but my family has 3 blankets. They had 4 blankets. So now we have 7 blankets between our 2 families. And, again, we're like, all right, I don't know how that happened. Everyone needs a good blanket. We do live in Wisconsin. It's 100% cotton, high vibrational blanket. We're fine. Well, at the end of the last day, I was packing up these blankets and figuring out how we're going to fit them all into our suitcase. And I'm folding up my beautiful hummingbird blanket, and I come across a tag. I don't feel like I've seen a tag on the other ones. I just don't. So where the tag came from, I don't even know. I didn't even think to look for a tag, honestly. Would you believe that there's no cotton in the blanket, okay? It was like 60% polyester, 20% Rylon, and like another 20% of something. I don't even know what it was, but there was no cotton in the blanket. And now I'm like, oh, hell no. What? Like 7 blankets later, and we are just now realizing that this thing is not even cotton. And then, of course, I just had to assume that it wasn't made by a family heirloom handmade. It was made in probably a sweatshop somewhere, probably not even in Mexico. And so I'm like upset. Like, I couldn't help it. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, this is crazy. And so we're like ready to go. Like, our cab is leaving out front. Like, Danny and Nixon and Nevaeh are like waiting for me. Well, Rachel was down by the pool. I went to Rachel. I'm like, I didn't want to tell her, but I just felt like I had to. I'm like, Rachel, we got duped. I'm like, these blankets are not cotton. And I'm sorry, like, fabric and vibration is everything to me, okay? That's all we are, is energy and vibration. And when I found out these things weren't even cotton, I was like, fit to be tied. And she's like, oh, heck no, they are not. I'm like, no, they are not. I'm like, what? Will you walk down to the beach? I have to have words with Patricia. And so we walk down to the beach, and I'm like, Patricia, I'm like, yeah, like, we did fit all 7 blankets in our luggage. But as I was folding it up, I seen the tag, and these are not cotton. And you could tell, like, her face just totally changed. Like, she was kind of like, uh-oh, like, I'm caught in this lie. And I'm like, Patricia, like, they were really cool blankets. Like, you don't have to lie to sell them. Like, I've just felt totally ripped off, totally haggled. And she was like, do you know what she said? She's like, you can have one. She's like, pick out which other one do you want? You can have one. I'm sorry. I don't know that she said I'm sorry, actually. But she was like, now offering me a free blanket. And I like looked at her like, Patricia, like, Patricia, I don't have room for any more blankets. Like, I don't want another one of your blankets. As a matter of fact, like, knowing this, I don't want the 3 blankets that I have. Knowing that they're polyester, like, can I get refunded? Can you take them back? I knew that wasn't happening. So I felt a little better knowing that I kind of, like, spoke my piece in the most gracious way that I knew how. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't get really crappy with her. I just kind of let her know that I caught her in the lie, and that I knew that they weren't 100% cotton and they weren't made in their family heirloom. And I swear she was smiling about it. She was like, kind of like, oh, well, when you come back next year, I'll braid your hair for free. That's what she said. I was like, no, Patricia. Like, I don't like to associate myself with liars and scammers and who knows what else they're doing. So no more beach buys for me. Okay, I learned my lesson. Definitely learned my lesson on that one. And one more thing, and I don't mean to complain here. I'm just telling you my experience, my stories. But my daughter Nevaeh wanted her hair braided into these dragon braids. They must be trending on TikTok right now. I don't know, but she wanted these dragon braids. It's something kind of out of my wheelhouse. I was like, man, I don't know how to do these dragon braids. So Patricia does the braids. So I'm like, yes, okay, like braid her up, like do it. And so she's braiding her hair. She gets done doing the dragon braids. They look fabulous. Nevaeh is super happy and excited. And I'm like, all right, like how much? And she was like, $150. And I was like, ma'am, $150 for 40 minutes of work? Like dragon braids? Like what? I was like, I'm not paying you $150. I'm sorry. It's a no for me. I'm like, she's like, well, how much do you think? And I'm like, honestly, like 30, but I said 60. I was like, $60. $60 to do the dragon braids here. And so I gave her the $60 and I was on my way. But again, another lesson that when you get these services, make sure you negotiate the price before you get the service. I feel like I've known these things. I've learned these lessons before. And it was kind of a reminder again of like, hey, when you're in a foreign country and you're doing beach buys, the beach bargains are not always the best deal. You're better off just paying full price and knowing what you're getting from a reputable source. So that was my gripe there. Meanwhile, I have the 3 blankets later, and now just looking at the blankets, I don't even know how to feel about them anymore. I'm just kind of like, I still love the blanket. It is still a wonderful design. But just that vibration and that energy is kind of icky to me now. So maybe I'll smudge them. I'll sage them real good and clear that energy. And you'll see me on it using that blanket at some point. I'm not quite sure. I haven't fully digested it. But I do forgive Patricia. I want to have just a lot of peace in my heart knowing that, you know, nothing is by mistake. And that money that we did pay for the blankets went to feed their families or went to something that unbeknownst to me, it was destined to be. So I have a lot of peace in knowing that whatever happened there on the beach, I'm going to leave it there and here right now. Thank you for listening to this. And just know that everything happens for a reason. I forgive her. I know you got to do what you got to do to survive out there. And it's a cruel, harsh world sometimes, but I'm not going to let that steal my shine. I just had to speak my piece, and I was happy I had that opportunity to do so, because otherwise I feel like if I wasn't able to like confront her and say something to her face to face and like see that reaction and confirm that indeed I was lied to and taken advantage of, I think I would have been stewing on it a little bit, right? And I really would have had to throw my hands up to God and just give it to him. But the fact that we were able to kind of bring full circle with that and call her out, I just, you know, and in a polite way. I didn't go full, you know, I didn't have a D1 crash out, okay, as my daughter would say. But, you know, we did it. I did it, and I'm happy we did. And maybe one day I'll use these blankets. But at this point, I'm not quite sure. So that's how the trip ended as we left there in Mexico. But the flights were smooth sailing. I didn't have any like horrors at the airport or anything like that. So overall, spring break traveling was a 2 thumbs up, and I can't wait to do it again next year. I wonder where we'll go. I was asking the kids, I'm like, where should we go next? What should we do? Lord only knows. We'll see. But I definitely think like the resort, the all-inclusive is the way to go for us right now, even though I've been kind of called to go on a cruise. Doesn't that sound like fun? It does sound like fun. in a couple years, I'm going to be turning 40. So I want to do something big with the family then. So I've been kind of like toying around with the ideas to do like a Mississippi River cruise or go like on a cruise in the Dominican, or in June or July in the summer months is when you can swim with whale sharks in Cabo. So I was like, should we go to Cabo? But you know, living in Wisconsin, we only have 12 weeks of good weather of summer, and I just want to stay here. I don't want to go anywhere. It's even hard for me to get off the lake, so to go camping or whatnot. So I know it's rough. It's rough, but hey, you got to get out there and get after it and explore. I just love to travel and adventure, and I'm really confident and courageous in doing so, and I love sharing that experience with loved ones. So get out there and get after it. It's not going to come get you. That's one thing with adventure is you have to get yourself out of the comfort zone and go out there and get some. Because if you're sitting home and watching everyone else have the fun, that is not where the magic happens. So that's my ploy for Puerto Vallarta. I did talk way too much about my vacation. I didn't come on here thinking that I was going to talk about it at all. As a matter of fact, on my sweet little notes here, I could even prove to you, this wasn't even on the list to talk about. So, oh my goodness, but at least it's authentic, it's real, it's from the soul, and that's all I got. So I just want to, connect with what is on my list here to talk about on the podcast. And a lot of that has to do with spring fever. So now that I'm back from spring break and I have that vacation under my belt, now it's like full on spring fever. Like I absolutely love it. Like the farm is just coming back to life. We noticed right away how green everything was looking here, and the trees are budding, and I just feel so reinvigorated. It's kind of like that old winter energy has been shed, and now I'm like, let's go. Now it's projects, and everywhere I look at the farm, it's projects and things to do. And I'm sure you feel the same way about your house with spring cleaning and planting and all the fun things that come along with this new season. So it's all not that we have to do these things, right? We get to do these things. So I've been correcting myself every time I'm like, I have to do this. I'm like, no. We get to do these things, right? Like there's a lot of people all over the world that don't get to do those things. So we are right here right now for a divine reason, and I'm forever grateful for that. And so I just have spring fever. I don't know what else to say. Seeds are just happening. My friend online, actually it's my mom's friend, he's a seed saver, turns out, Mike Meyer, and he sent me in the mail all the way from Rubicon marigolds and sunflowers, and it's a man. I just wasn't expecting it. It was such a sweet little surprise, and I was like, oh man, he's my people. He's part of the high vibe earth tribe. And I just love it. And the seeds, and how sweet is this? What a wonderful gift. And you best believe when I plant these seeds out there in the garden, in the field, I'm going to think of Mike, and I'm going to say sweet little prayers and blessings for him, and that he went out of his way to send me these seeds and share a little piece of his heart. And I just think that's a wonderful thing. So, and also the idea of reciprocity. Now I'm like, well, what can I give back? What can I give back to him? And give back to the earth too. And I feel like this is just a small way to do it, is to recycle these seeds and kind of use those flower heads for good. And it sure made my day. And so I'm going to also do a seed exchange or a seed giving with my friends, and Lord knows I have enough of them, and I always like doing that at the farmer's market. I'll package them up in little packets. I remember last year I gave out magic beans. I wrote on the package, magic beans. They were magic purple beans that someone passed on from church that I grew that season, and saved those seeds and passed those on. And they're wonderful, delicious, giving purple beans. And they were just so good. And I just love seeing people's reactions when you hand them a packet of seeds, because some people don't garden at all. They're like, what seeds? What do I do with this? What goes on, Ashley? What will you want me to do? What with these seeds? Yes. Stick them in the dirt. Just put it in the ground. Just put it in the ground and watch it grow. And I feel like this year more than ever, I just feel so liberated. As a lot of you know, I and no longer have Sunshine's beautiful Earth Mama vibes overseeing the operation here at the DNA Hemp Farm. And so I'm kind of all solo, and me and my children, once they're off of school, will be helping me so they can become more connected to the earth, because Lord knows that's necessary. But I'm really excited to just kind of be on my own rhythm, on my own schedule, on my own train of thought, and kind of do what I want, how I want to do it, when I want to do it. Bam! And I'm like, that is just, I feel free. I'm like a free bird out here. And absolutely, positively, no pressure to do anything any which way. Because that's what gardening is. It's just a beautiful, wonderful experiment. And some things are not going to grow. Some things are going to die. Some things are going to surprise you, and they're just going to grow like crazy. And you're going to be like, what do we do now? And so I feel like the only thing that I have to tell myself that it is just me. So don't plant. I always have these big plans, big dreams, and I go big. I just go big in whatever I do in my life. And so now I'm like, should I reel it in a little bit? Or should I not? Or am I going to be on here recruiting? Help! Come help me weed these things. Because plants do need tender, loving care. And that's part of the indigenous way, is never take more than you need. And so I'm going to try to keep that true in my heart and in my mind, to just not plant more than I need. But I also am in a unique position in where I am at the farmer's market every Saturday. So in the event that I have lots of abundance in my jardine, I will bring it to market. And I don't know if I'll sell it there or just give it away or find good homes for it. But me and my giving heart, nothing brings me more joy than to give. I'm a big giver. Okay, I'm a big giver. If you know me, you know that I love to give freely and generously. And I feel like that's why I have so much abundance in my life, because it just comes back to me tenfold. So I'm always like, make it rain, and whatever, whether it's vibes, whether it's seeds, whether it's hemp. Lord knows, I got lots of that. And I'll give you the shirt off my back if you needed it. So I love to give. It always comes back to me. So at least I have an outlet for my abundance so I can give it to the farmer's market. And before the farmer's market, and even still now, I'll bring it to Cheryl's Club 175, all the abundance, and give it to guests there. And they always think I'm crazy. They're always like, wait, what's she bringing now? What do you got now, Ashley? Oh my goodness. But I just love to do it. I do it because of the reaction. I do it because of the love. I do it to make people's day. I do it to spread joy. I do it because giving makes me happy too. And I know that, sharing is caring. And that's what the good Lord has called me to do, is just to give generously, freely with my gifts and to share them. So, Captain, that is exactly what I'll do. But seeds, and so much more seeds. I love just laying them out and kind of seeing what I'm working with. I use the Southern Seed Exchange, which is a USDA organic seed source, where non-GMO, open pollinated seeds that is sourced. And I just love their packaging, and you can tell they're high vibrational beans there. And I planted so much already in this week that I've been back. I've been kind of going crazy. I planted dill and arugula, and also some flower varieties that are the drying kind, and see how they do. And I just really went into it being like, hey, whatever happens, happens. If nothing comes up, that's fine. If everything comes up, fantastic. And if it's mediocre, okay, we'll lean with it, rock with it. I'm here for it. So I just absolutely love it. I also use the hoop house to plant some pepper seeds. And so once you start planting these seeds, you have to take care of them. They need water. You have to check in on them. Especially in the hoop house where it's warmer in there, no outside source is giving them water. So it is a commitment. And I was able to make that commitment to myself in the future here and plant those seeds. And peppers are really hard to come up. They're kind of like tomatoes. They take some finesse. So, hey, even if I get a couple, I'll chalk it up as a win. And that's what I just love too, is that it's not a competition. Like, I'm not in competition with all the other vegetable farmers that are at the market. Like, they've been doing this passed down for generations to generations. I'm a first generation farmer here, and I'm learning as I go. And it's just really awesome just be in the power of the present and accepting what is, and not putting too much pressure on myself that I need to perform. I just feel like that part of me is just so yesterday, that like that hustle, that I gotta get it right, gotta have a plan. It's just, I feel like that's just like an old version of me. I shed that with the year of the snake, and now I'm in the horse, and I'm just planting seeds and just having a lot of fun doing it. I also was kind of giggling at myself because when we moved into our home 10 years ago, my husband did a complete overhaul of the garden. Oh, I'm going to silence that. And he did a complete overhaul of the garden. So it was like an open slate. And so I went to the nursery, and la-ti-da, just picked out whatever jumped at me. I was very intuitive selection. And I picked out, whatever made me happy. And part of that was, looking back now, like I probably got too much stuff and I've replanted things. And now too, like, I got daylilies, and I feel like daylily is kind of like a ditchweed, right? And I want to free up some space for some annuals this season. So I also transplanted some daylilies to out here at the farm, where it's going to be rough and rugged, and they're very hardy. So I love that. Two things I want to share. I let go of the narrative that I couldn't do it, that I didn't know how to do it, that I've never done it before, so I'm just not gonna try. I let that go. I'm like, all right, like, no, I've transplanted stuff, like, well, in regards of hemp, but never with perennials. And maybe I've done some light work, but not like an overhaul like I took on this morning. And that's what I did. I just brought some buckets home from the farm to my house, and I got out the good old shovel and just went to town and did about half of them. I'm going to bring the other half of the daylilies to Cheryl's Club and plant them there tomorrow. But it just felt really good that I let go of that old story that didn't serve me anymore, of like, well, I don't know how, and I can't do it, and I don't know. Like, am I able? Am I enough? Am I capable? I'm like, no, yeah, absolutely, I am, and I might, and all of them might not take. Maybe we lose a couple along the way. Charge it to the game. Like, we're doing this. We're just getting in there and getting after it, and I absolutely love that for myself. And I also want to give a shout out to my sister, Rachel, who has a super mega amazing green thumb. She is very talented. People know her house by her flower beds, her flower gardens. It's just like this lush jungle that is just full of variety and color and pop. And you can just tell she puts a lot of tender love and care into her garden, and really has learned over the years of what she's doing. She knows her flowers. And she said to me, I was talking to her about the garden on vacation, about my garden, and I'm like, 10 years ago, I was so young, I didn't know what I was doing, and now I feel like I got to do a complete overhaul because I'm not liking the direction where it's going, and knowing what I know now, I do want to change it. And she's like, yeah, just right now is a good time. Like, why don't you just dig up those daylilies and plant them in the front of one of the outbuildings at the farm? And I was like, immediately I could tell that I'm like not in a full state of surrender. Like, I'm still have some of that resistance in me, because I was like, oh no, like at the farm, I'm like, we don't know what we're doing out there. There's still so much landscaping that needs to be done. Like, I don't know. It's just maybe not now. And she's like, oh, okay. Like, she was super sweet about it, but she's like, okay. And she planted that seed though. And I took that seed home with me. And this is the power of the tongue, of like the words that you speak, and like what the intention that you're putting out there for people. Like, by her saying that got me thinking, and I'm like, well, yeah, like, why not? Why can't I make the outhouses look beautiful and have somewhere to go with these plants and do the changes that I want to do? No better time than now. And so I just got after it. And I just wanted to publicly declare thank you, Dragonfly Princess Pretty Rachie, my darling sister-in-law. You are an angel, and without her saying that, without her giving me that sweetest little nudge of exploring possibilities and listening to me and really like taking that to heart and like making a recommendation that I asked for, I got it done, and I feel so good about it right now. I'm like, hey, ho, go mama, got it done. And I'm like, thank you, baby girl Rachel. And that's what friends are for. And it's such a beautiful thing. It's so liberating, and I love that. And so I also took some bleeding hearts that, you know, kind of had babies. My mega bleeding heart bush had some babies. So I took those and I planted those here too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, all in a day's work. We're just getting started here. So I'm just really excited about the springtime and what that all means. And I feel like a lot of that too was also spurred by Robin Wall Kimmerer. If you haven't heard from her, you need to go look her up. I'm serious. This lady is a Native American. She has a very strong and rich indigenous cultural background, and she wrote multiple books, but the ones that I got my hand on was Braiding Sweetgrass. I'm like looking around for it. I meant to bring it, and I'm sorry that I didn't, but I actually listened to her audio book, Braiding Sweetgrass, and learned so much from it. And just her voice, the way she reads. And then actually last year at the Midwest Women's Herbal Conference, she was one of the keynote presenters there. So I got to put a voice to her face, and just like she exudes earth mama vibrations. Like, she's truly connected with the earth in a way that I didn't even know was possible before meeting this individual, honestly, and reading her story, reading her book and her connection. And she's a scientist also, so she is like formally trained, so she's bringing that like scientific knowledge with indigenous wisdom and the teaching of plants, and her understanding of the Mother Earth and the energy there that's associated with these plants, and how to work with people is just awe-inspiring. And if you haven't read or listened to Braiding Sweetgrass, I highly recommend it. And I recommended it so much that after doing her Audible book, I came across her Braiding Sweetgrass book for the youth, for young adults. And my intention was to give it to Nevaeh, and I tried to give it to Nevaeh. I'm like, Nevaeh, I need you to read this book. Like, I need you to have this understanding of the earth, because I feel like that connection has gotten lost along the way. Like, she's afraid to go in the forest because of ticks. Like, I'm like it's hard to get her to go on a hike with me, much less, you know, go into the woods and do her own exploring, which I did so much of as a little girl on my own. You couldn't get me out of the forest. I absolutely forest bathed my little heart out all the time. That was like my happy, safe place, was in the woods. But she doesn't have that interest. Nixon, on the other hand, does. I never have to ask him twice. But so I got her this book. I wanted her to read this wisdom and kind of get that connection, because she is a big reader, and she didn't want to. So I was like, well, fine, I'm going to read it. And so it was kind of different variation. It was nice to have that like physical book opposed to the Audible. And I finished that in Puerto Vallarta. And I feel like that just further ignited and invigorated my flame for taking care of the earth. So when I look around the farm here and I see all this like overgrowth and like, you know, even some debris or garbage that was left along the way, because we've taken over the land from another owner, from Uncle Dave, but who had it from someone else. And anyways, it just kind of gets overgrown, and there's things that, you know, everyone has different standards. And so really like picking up the trash and cleaning the earth and tending to the garden, it was just, and while respecting the native plants that are here, it just really awe-inspiring and opened my eyes to a whole different train of thought that was just really grounding and leaning me towards a more simple life. And I know that's easy for me to say. I know my life is big, broad, and beautiful. but really kind of figuring out, and God has just such a wonderful way of doing this and guiding me through it, but like how we can just simplify things, because less really is more. And I feel like, connecting with the earth here has just really allowed me to be creative and have that outlet for expression. And it's just been so wonderful to be reminded of that. Thank you, Robin Wall Kimmerer. And I look forward to furthering this herbal knowledge at the Midwest Herbal Conference, which is happening over, is it Labor Day weekend? No, Memorial Day weekend. Excuse me. It's always Memorial Day weekend here at the end of May. And it's in Almond, Wisconsin, where people from all over the nation, especially the Midwest, come and gather. And I feel like I'm amongst my people at the Midwest Herbal Fest. It's like these women talk the language of the earth. And I'm just like a little baby child, like learning everything I can and like asking questions and tuning in to all the lectures and the conferences and wanting to like learn so much more, like thirsty for that knowledge. So just like I'm thirsty for Jesus, and I'm just like, tell me more, doing a lot of listening. And I think I'm getting better at listening, and I'm not full surrendering because I resisted Rachel, but I'm getting there. But anyways, if you haven't checked out the Midwest Women's Herbal Fest, there is still room to go. It's very small. I think there's only like 300 ladies, but also being amongst all women and that feminine energy is super powerful too. I mean, just to be like nourished, nurtured, and embraced is just really like wonderful, and it's uplifting and empowering for us women too, to kind of take back that knowledge, take back that power, and kind of trust our intuition and let the earth be our guide. Whoa! So at this Herbal Fest, I'm going to meet a ton of more ladies that are really inspiring, and kind of some of them have become like a mentor to me. So I'm excited to make more connections there. And of course, DNA Hemp sponsors the event. So we will have a vending booth there where we are the only CBD vendor there. And so I love showing up on that regard too. And, reintroducing hemp or cannabis, the plant medicine, to these ladies that know that there's like 1,000 other herbs that can help you with what hemp does, but it might take a different formulation to get what the effects of what hemp can do all on our own. So love to be working with the queen herb amongst all these queens over there at the Midwest Fest, these beautiful Gaias, as I like to call them, as it was what I was learned. And that's where I learned grand rising from. We're not mourning. No, it's not a good morning. We're not mourning anything. We are grand rising. So I love picking up those little tidbits along the way. They're always in song. There's a ton of different like music there, singing song. The food is absolutely amazing. It's so nourishing. It's so delicious and fresh and good for you. The fruits and the vegetables and the herbs. It's just herbaceous, awesome goodness. The infusions that they have there that you can drink. It's just a wonderful, wonderful conference to be part of, and I couldn't be more elated and to be a sponsor. So we're going to keep on rocking in the free world. And they have this thing called Teen Spiral, and it's for teenage girls. And I'm really, really hoping and praying that Nevaeh will change her mind and come with me, because I'd love to be able to connect with her on this level through the earth and all of the earthen gifts that are offered to us, seeing as how we have this opportunity to take over the farm and kind of really keep creating out here on this front. So getting that connection at such a young age would be just so powerful. And I hope she joins me as part of the Teen Spiral, where they also connect like your menses and your moon cycle, and talk about those topics that girls go through as a teen. And skincare is part of it too. So natural skincare where they can really make their own. And with Nevaeh having so much access to this natural remedies here on the farm. I mean, just today I seen motherwort coming. She's been here for a hot minute, and nettles coming up. So those are two really powerful plant allies, and she walks over them like they're nothing. So being able to have this platform and opportunity to teach her and spread on the knowledge is just such a wonderful, beautiful thing. And I'm all for that vibration, because all is vibration. Yes, okay. So the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees trees, that's another thing with Robin Wall Kimmerer. It was just like, never refer to nature as it. Like, I wouldn't refer to my friend as it. Like, we need to know the names of the plants, of the trees, of the birds, of the animals. We can't call it it. And if you don't know a name, call it kin, because they are part of our kin. We are all part of the circle of life, the web that we're weaving. And so really also inspired me to get to know my trees. And I felt this even before the book. Like, I'm like, trees are so important and they're so ancient. They have so much history and they have so much healing potential to them too. So I remembered I had this book, and now I'm kind of like helping study with it, and also using, Gemini online to help me identify, but I know you can't completely rely on that. So we're kind of getting back to the basics and knowing the trees and identifying them. And I feel like I'm relearning all of this. Like, my dad knew all the trees. He knew even all the bird sounds, the bird calls, the music and the singing that is even in the trees. And so I am on a mission to learn it, but I know that it ain't happening overnight, and to be patient with myself and give myself grace and the mercy to take it step by step and day by day. So absolutely love it. And I did check on, speaking of bees, I checked on my bees this week too on the hive, and they are alive and they survived the winter, and they still have some sugar feed on top. So for part of the sugar pallet that was put on there. So I'm going to let them take care of that. And then I have some sugar simple syrup made up to put on top of the hive while all the dandelions have yet to come and the flowers are on their way. So, which are also on trees. It's all connected. It is all connected, and it is such a beautiful, wonderful web of life. And I'm so grateful and blessed to be able to share that with you. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for giving me this opportunity and giving me the time and resources to be able to share this wonderful experience we call life. And please reach out at any time if there is a topic you wanted to discuss or something, some feedback that you want to give me. I absolutely love the interaction and connection. As a matter of fact, that's why I'm doing this. I'm so excited for next week. In the coming months of the podcast, I have some special guests coming up in lieu of the 420 celebration. And we're going to be talking about spirituality and the alternative healing in the conscious connection in that space with another guest. So stay tuned, my friends. And in the meantime, if you want to vibe higher, check out my offerings of hemp-infused everything from oils, topicals, edibles, and smokables, and DNAHempLLC.com. I will ship to you anywhere in the nation. As a matter of fact, I just shipped a package to Honolulu, Hawaii. He bought some wonderful tea. So shout out to my High Vibe tribe. I could not be here without your love and support. And Lord knows I recognize that, honor that, and appreciate that in you. With no further ado, I'm going to ho'oponopono this thing with I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. Until next time, my friends, stay prayed up. Bless.